Hey, everybody, this is the movie group chat. It's an emergency pod. We wanted to, once we all got to see the Odyssey, we are going to talk about it in our group chat, and we figured that we'd share that with you guys. So I know we said Mike and Nick and Alice is, I got to say that very carefully, is this week. We're going to push that to next week, so make sure you watch that on Hulu. Action comedy. We'll talk about it at the very end, but we're going to get right into it. Enjoy. We got all four of us here. Aaron Brick, Jeremy Givens, Justin Givens, and myself, Chet Ngole. Enjoy and make sure you comment and do all the fun stuff and enjoy. Wait, I would think I was taking you to the airport, and did I secretly pull off to the side, or was that like... Because
I don't think I knew.
Yeah,
I thought we were going to the gas station, because when we pulled to the gas station, and I was like,
so what's the billboard though?
And then you like got out and you were like,
hey, look at me.
What's the billboard though?
It's for
Gotta
US.
see his...
Am I allowed to say it? No, they're not paying me now. US Bank. And I was in a commercial with Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, you were the commercial. I saw the commercial. I didn't know the billboard was out.
Yeah, and so the
Dude,
billboard...
it was a massive,
Actually, maybe I did see it.
Shit
Yeah,
on the
Sienna
side
got-
of like a 10-story building.
It's the road that you
did
go...
one of you post it? Because I feel like I can picture it.
I have a
Yeah.
picture of it. I took a picture of it.
The
I'll
funniest
send
part,
it to you.
The funniest part was like, I guess because I did that, Justin, when my dad will fly in or drive in from Kingman at Christmas time last 2 years, and we'll leave from LAX together to North Carolina. And he hates LA so much. And so when he picks me up from my apartment and we drive down to LAX because we're staying at the hotel next door, he is like flipping out the way that I flip out, but like it's Farouk. So he's my dad is like scarier than me. And so I'm like, hey, Dad, I see where we are. And I'm like, hey, Dad, pull off to the side. He's like, we don't need gas. Why are we pulling off to the side? My legs hurt. I've been in the car for 4 hours. I'm ready to go. And I'm like, Dad, just pull off to the side. Do you need to pee? If you need to pee, fine. And I'm like, yeah, I need to pee. And we pull off into the gas station. And I said, get out real quick. He's like, I don't need to pee. I'm not getting out. And I'm looking at I'm like, this is why I'm like this. and you get out and he's like, what? And I go, and he goes literally from, wow. Oh, wow. That's so cool.
It'd have been better. It would have been funnier if he didn't recognize it. He was like, who?
It took him a second because my hair was longer. And the crazy part about that is on the second day, the first day we were filming, I did the bank stuff. The second day was the basketball stuff. And then because the pay wasn't like union, the wardrobe people were like, yeah, you can keep your suit, because it was a suit that fits me. It was the one I wore on the Andy episode. And they gave it to me. And then during the basketball one, they were like, where's the suit? In between shots, let's get him. They were trying to milk it because, you know, you have to usually do pay for a whole other session. And so long story short, I didn't have the suit with me. And so 2 months later, they say, hey, can you do, we're going to hire a photographer. They're going to come to your house and do some stills for a billboard. And so this guy came to my house, and I was like a longer hair, beard, whatever. And he took pictures of me in my
right now.
Yeah, my beard was longer than it was. I have a beard even after I shave. I have a 2-hour shadow. But anyway, so the guy where my projector is in my apartment, we used that blank wall, and that's where that photo was taken.
That's hilarious. You know what I really wish? I wish that billboard was the Hims ad, because that would be even funnier. A 10-story you with like, I like my Hims.
I told you the story when I first saw that commercial, right? And I sent you the video when I was in the sports book in Vegas.
Vaguely, but you didn't tell me the story, I don't think.
Okay, so I'm in the sports book in Vegas, the Westgate Superbook, and I hadn't seen the ad yet, but it had been on for a couple of weeks. I'd only seen like the pictures or videos you sent of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna butcher it, but It's whatever I said in the text because I took a video because it came up so many times. I got a chance to take a video of it, and I said,
Chet's
"I know
boner
that guy.
commercial.
I know that guy. He went from selling so and so to hawking dick pills." And
I really wish
it was
you
funny.
became the Dos Equis man of dick pills.
I know.
I
Like
don't
the most
always have
interesting
sex,
man in it.
but when I do, I prefer him.
Like in every
I just
poster
wish-
was like
I
this.
just wish you were the all-in-one guy for them. You were hawking
Yeah.
them GLP-1s. You were doing the hair loss pills, the erection pills. Just like you're synonymous with just the problems with a man.
The crazy part is, wait, even crazier. By the way, the line is, why wouldn't I get high quality care I can trust? I love
That
him.
sounded legit. That sounded legit, man.
Hey,
That's why they pay
get
you.
start-
That's
wait.
what
I
they
also
do.
did the
Yo, he
voiceover, right?
killed that, bro. He killed that. One
Get started at
Chet,
him.
go away. Big head.
Big head.
This is why I was afraid of embracing the billboard, because I was afraid of where it would take me. I like actively try not to go too far with it, but I'll end with saying one of the side gigs, everybody listening, these days you have to have like multiple day jobs to be able to try to be a filmmaker and an actor. It's different than before. And so Justin and myself do, and we could cut this if it's not fine, but we do substitute teaching on the side whenever there's nothing going on. And one of the days I was at a school for a while, and one of the girls says, Mr. C. I go by Mr. C because I don't want them to know anything about me or Google me. And Justin
Mr.
gave
G.
me that advice.
Mr. G.
Yeah.
Mr. G. Oh, I'm the one who told you to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I went by Mr. C because I went to an Armenian school and I was afraid they would kill me. And so
That's probably good.
if they knew my last name. And so anyway, this little girl
As you
comes up-
wear that jersey
I know.
in plain
I'm not
view
afraid.
telling this story.
I wouldn't go to this wear this to the Armenian school, but like I feel like they could their ancestor hated me. But anyway, the little girl says to me, Mr. C, I saw you on a commercial, and my heart goes, I'm like this. And then the another teacher's right there. They're like, he's on a commercial? Oh my God, what's it for? And she goes, I'm not allowed to say.
Good looking out, kid.
But it was my nightmare. I was like, oh my God. I was
You would
like,
have been in a whole different world of hurt if a little kid was like, "It's for boner pills."
I mean, technically I am the after guy.
sells boner pills. Yeah.
One of the kids like, what's a boner? And then they have to have the talk. There's an
And,
assembly.
and they're
you'd
savvy
be-
with the
you'd
tech.
be on a
They would have
registered
Googled
list
it.
by
They
the
would
end
have
of the
pulled up
day.
all the. Somebody would have instantly found it and been like, "Oh, there's the commercial right there."
You'd
There it is.
have been on a list by the end of the day.
And technically, it's not just boner pills. I'm the after guy for the hair, the weight loss, and the boner. I must have been.
So you are all three.
Well, I'm the after guy. Why wouldn't I get high quality care I can trust? I don't need this shit anymore. That's the subtext.
I still don't understand why they had to fly you to Mexico to film that. You could have done that anywhere.
Because it was, by the way, the on-set food was the greatest of all time because it was a bunch of abuelas just cooking their
only sell
cooking their
bananas.
food. Oh my God, it was the best. And I didn't eat until after because I'm like, I got the Turkish tire and it's like anything I can do to reduce that. I made them make me sit down because I
The Turkish tire.
twisted my ankle 3 days before playing basketball, so I couldn't really stand up. But anyway, the food was great, and so Mexico City was all right. And I would say going there was a little bit of an odyssey to get through the airport of Tom Bradley, because that was a nightmare. But yeah, there we go. Speaking of which,
That was a good transition. A good
see,
transition.
I saw that. Look,
Could you
I saw the
hear my
time.
eye roll? I wonder if you heard
That was a good
my
transition.
eye roll.
I'll
when
give you that one.
when
Listen, guys,
It was
I
a
just
little.
saw.
It was a little subtle, a little too subtle, Chet. I think
Yeah.
you can do it again.
Okay,
I think
you're right.
I think next time be a little more on the nose.
Okay, the way after that happened, my billboard's now down because of that transition. And I was looking at the clock,
when that
Jeremy.
girl,
That's
when
why I
that
was
girl
like,
said that to you, in the
I was
classroom, you should
trying.
have been like, "Who let these beggars in here?"
Somebody let these beggars in
might
here.
be, dude. That might be the line of the 21st century, dude.
It might be the
That
line
might
of the
be-
21st century, and
that
then that
might be-
reel I sent you guys that said if it was a Tarantino movie, that is the reel of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have
But
shown
like,
that to so many. I have shown that to so many people.
the
That,
fear.
and it's spot on accurate too. And they're also questioning, like, is this really relevant?
I've never seen anybody with the least amount of fear to deliver a line. Like, he said it in like an Atlantic, what is that called? An Atlantic accent from the 40s. He's like, so I'm gonna let these faggots
yeah,
in
it's
here.
like East Atlantic or something like that. East Atlantic accent.
Well, we got to look it up, but it's
Somebody get these baggers out of here.
it's the accent that they did to nullify the British and American, and so to have all of the audiences, like Katharine Hepburn, and like they don't really talk like that. They did that. No one
I think it's
has
called
that
like an
accent.
East Atlantic accent. I think that's what.
You're telling me when Kate Blanchett
Transatlantic.
had that accent playing
Transatlantic,
Katharine
yeah.
Hepburn the entire Aviator movie, that is inaccurate?
Well, I think that's the thing. They don't start with that accent, but like Charlize Theron, this movie, she has an American accent now, but she trained herself to get rid of her South African accent. And so
South Africa?
What'd you say? South Africa,
South Africa?
Johannesburg,
South-
Johannesburg,
In America, it's bling bling, but in Africa, it's bling bang.
bling bang.
TIA.
It's bling bang.
TIA.
TIA, huh? This is Africa.
I'm not from South Africa. I'm from Rhodesia.
We call that Zimbabwe now.
Is that in the movie? Who says
That's
that?
That's her response.
That's her name. Yeah. Jennifer.
All right.
Conley.
Conley. Yeah. All right.
All right.
So who technically we chose this as a group because it took us forever to see it all.
Yeah, it's kind of an emergency pod because
We have all finally seen
we all finally
Chris
got
Nolan's
to see the Odyssey.
Some of
70
us
millimeter IMAX.
Some of us
because,
took longer than others to see it.
Yeah, some
It
of
was
us
really
bought our
hard
tickets
to
a
get
year in
tickets.
advance.
It was
Some
really
of
hard
us
to
bought
get
our tickets a year in advance, baby.
A year
I bought
in
my
advance,
tickets a
Justin.
year ago.
Yeah, smoke and
A
mirrors
year
over
ago.
here are like, well, it's a year ahead of time. I'm gonna go and get my Nolan tickets, and Jeremy and I are like, we don't even have a group name because we don't need one since we beat you guys all the time.
Yeah. And
But
now
we
we're
didn't
doing
know
the
we
Odyssey.
didn't need it.
We're
It was
doing
like
the Odyssey 1 month after it came out because of you.
You know,
3
in
weeks.
hindsight, I wish I would have bought it sooner. I'd never seen a movie sell out a year in advance before. That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy that
I
happened.
underestimate
But
Only reason I got mine a year in advance was because I just happened to look because I was like, who's buying this a year in advance? And I saw 3 sold out showings because here in Nashville we have one of the true 70 millimeter IMAX screens, and so like 3 of them were sold out and there's only 1 left, and I was like, oh my god, if I don't buy it now, I'm going to wait 2 weeks to have to see it, and I'm glad I did because if I didn't buy it, I would have to have waited. I think a couple of people that waited that I work with, they got tickets for August 17th or 18th, so like almost a full month later to get a ticket.
Me and
I'm like,
Naomi,
that's insane.
I bought a year in advance as well. And I was, keep in mind, because I was at the Chinese theater. And so as crazy as LA is because, all the film dweebs and cinephiles live here. So it's even harder to get these kinds of tickets. I was ready for the sale. I was in the queue right when it dropped, and it was instantly Friday gone, Saturday gone by the time I got there, and Sunday was almost gone. Me and Naomi got probably 2 of the last 10 seats. Otherwise, I probably would have been pushed all the way 2 weeks. Like it came that close. Like, and I was there waiting, and I was like, "Oh my god, Friday's gone. Every single showing. Saturday, every single showing gone." And then we literally got the last showing on Sunday, and we got like the last row. We were the last row back. Like, and that was all that was left. I was like, "Oh my god, this is insane. The power of Nolan is unreal."
What were your views like on the last row in the Chinese theater? Because that's interesting. I love that theater, but I don't know what the last row is like.
So, I mean, it was still an enjoyable experience. I don't love sitting that far back because the Chinese theater is old, so it's certainly like not necessarily designed for like that, and it's a really, really large space. So, but it was still like, I mean, that screen is so massive. Like,
well, I think was it 70 millimeter?
Oh yeah, it's true 70. It's true IMAX at that Chinese theater, and I think Universal are the only 2 in LA. Well, the California Science Center also has it, but they don't show like movies. They show like nature documentaries.
But they converted it for this, I believe.
I don't know if they did.
There were
don't know,
other
maybe-
ones I saw that did that, and I'm curious for you guys. This isn't necessarily the question I wanted to start out with, but since we're there, Jeremy, did you see it in IMAX?
Yeah, 70 millimeter is still sold out
Which IMAX did you go to?
on West Valley.
Oh, I didn't know they had one out there.
Is it
Yeah.
a legit IMAX?
What do you mean legit? Like,
Well, that was my question. Is that like there's a lot of IMAX theaters, there are theaters that say that they play IMAX, but when I looked it up, the only IMAX that doesn't crop, and that's the reason that I wanted to wait until I saw it, is that there are IMAX Laser is the only digital format of the film that doesn't crop it. And there are other IMAXs that have to crop it a little bit because of the screen. And so it's not technically full on IMAX. I went to the Burbank 16, and that one has the big IMAX logos on the side, and it's basically untouched. And seeing the different frames,
But that's not 70, is it?
it's not 70,
No.
but it's the same, but it's not cropped. The rest of the IMAXs that are not laser are slightly cropped in the picture. So 70 is the full thing, right? But that was the
it has to be
appeal.
cropped if it's not 70 though. If it's not 70,
No, I
by
said the
definition, it's a crop.
least amount cropped. Like it's not.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't take away from the experience. And when I saw the different cropped, and I'm like, this is why it's worth watching this way. And I felt to myself when I had pretty good seats. It was a last week, I think. It blew my mind, the vastness of all the shots. I couldn't imagine seeing it any other way. What did you guys think of that?
I've seen it both ways because I saw it the first, like the IMAX 70 millimeter. Yes, of course, a year in advance.
Same.
So they
Same.
gave us a very cool little
Okay.
like ticket stub too. It was like this big.
Nolan
It's
tag
really
here.
cool.
These colors don't waver. Same brick.
Well, I'm a
with
big
you.
fan. I saw it twice in two different
So-
formats. I'm a Nolan.
So I went and saw. Then I went and saw it with the regulars.
I have an
Leaving
Oscar.
Beggars.
beggars.
I went and saw it with the beggars.
With the beggars.
I got these
I
baggers
would have
in
loved
here.
if you just
I
shouted
felt-
that in the
I
movie
felt
theater. Who
like
let these
that,
beggars
I felt
in
like
here?
that. What's that? I haven't seen the movie, but the Twilight meme where the video and he's looking down at people. It's like the meme where it's like how like like air fryer users look down on microwave users or whatever, and it's like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Michael
So-
Sheen. Michael Sheen.
Yeah. So that's what I literally like. I walked in, I was like, oh, I saw it in 70 millimeter, whatever. No, I'm just here for no reason. So I watched it again, and like it's funny because like it was totally enjoyable the regular way. But it was cool seeing the difference in cropping. But like, yeah, no, it was totally fine. I enjoyed it in just standard format.
What about the differences, though?
Oh, you didn't
I mean,
see it in
they're
IMAX the second time? Like you didn't see it in standard IMAX, or you saw it just in standard?
I just
like,
saw it standard. I went to
okay.
a 10 o'clock showing after work one night. Because I just want to see it again. Because it was like I saw the first time on Friday. And then I was like Sunday, or no, maybe it was Saturday. It was the next day. I think I just went. But it was obviously there's a difference having seen it both ways. But it was still an enjoyable movie.
I did the true IMAX at the Chinese theater first, 70 mil, with the film projection. I'm about to be snooty.
That's how I saw it.
Film projection, the true
These
way,
guys.
as Nolan intended.
None
And
of
then I
also
you
did-
have
I-
ever been in a Nolan film except for one person here.
Oh!
So if we're really going to be snooty, if we're really going to do it, we know
I mean, like-
we worked really hard to get that Oscar. It meant a lot to all of us. And
Jeremy's in.
proud of the work that
I
we
would-
did, because I believe that without Oppenheimer, I don't know if this movie exists. So there's a
Doesn't.
lot of pressure. So
Jeremy,
you're welcome
I want to
for
turn
the
this back on you a
performance.
little bit and just ask you, how could you not get your ticket a year in advance then?
Well,
Well-
he thought Nolan was going to give him one since he was in a movie with him.
He was like, "Oh,
Truthfully,
hey, Jerem texted Nolan and said, this is weird, but my
Like-
tickets to the Odyssey ain't came yet."
It's funny. It's funny you say that.
came,
Like Chris, he's a very private person, and myself also too, being a private person, I like to, do things in a different way. So, going to the spectacle, I felt like it would do an injustice to my director, if I did that instead of like going to it and letting it breathe for a little bit and then going and kind of allowing myself to get the full taste of what he was doing here with this project here. It's interesting I didn't get a call to be a part of it, but that's like another, story. But,
I totally could have saw you as the guy that jumped off the ship for the sirens.
Yeah. Wait, also from that, before we move forward,
I want to be the giant kid.
Our
That's what I want
audience
to be.
doesn't know. Oh, don't take my roles from me. That's vertical discrimination. I'm gonna be the Cyclops. Okay.
No, not the
you want to be the
Cyclops,
giant.
the other like the 8-foot man,
giant
like the
kid,
army. The kid that was like that. Yeah.
The kid who turns around like this.
What are they called though? What are they called? The lag bro. Justin knows.
Wait,
It's
before we
something
go
with an
forward,
L.
I want the audience
Something with
doesn't
an
know the story about Jeremy being in Oscar-winning film Oppenheimer. There's a very interesting story
Listen,
here. Jeremy, tell us, since you like giving the audience, tell us about your experience and the specifics of whom
what was
you
that
worked
line?
with.
What was that line
Sure.
again?
First and foremost, like I'm no different, than a podcaster, a rugby player, except for like my tools are the mechanisms in which trigger human emotion. So, it was a overcast morning in Southern California, and we were in this.
Stop. I'm
quiet.
logging
No,
off.
please don't stop. No. You got your tickets
We were
early.
this quiet-
Jeremy gets to tell this story the way he wants.
No, because you guys are sitting there. Oh, I got my ticket in advance.
Jeremy broke through the wall so
He
Travis
said
Scott could run.
it's an
in the
overcast
Odyssey.
day in Southern California.
It's overcast
Interior.
morning. Perfect
Interior.
for the scene that we were
Universal
shooting.
lot.
Yeah. No. We were on location.
Dude, Jeremy.
And
Listen,
Jeremy,
let's let him do this. Let's let him do this. It's 19.
No, it's okay.
It's 1943.
it's okay. You can ask. I just wanted to be able to address it to the beggars on this that think that they're Nolanites because they got their tickets in advance. And it's like,
Beggars on this.
listen,
Look,
I
I'm
got
proud
to
of you,
watch
man.
Nolan
you
work.
You walked
I was so
Travis Scott could
jealous.
run.
I'm not gonna lie.
Speaking
I
of
was
walking, so you were on set. It was an overcast day, and tell us about your specific
Yeah,
experience of what happened on that set
Yeah. It was a pretty powerful scene.
as a background performer.
Florence Pugh, Cillian Murphy, walking scene, talking scene. Interesting thing, there's Nolan doesn't use stand-ins. He kind of visualized everything, and like I got some other cool stories about that we could share for a podcast for another day. But it was a really good experience to be able to work with talent that I felt like would able to like measure up to myself and Cillian Murphy and Florence Pugh. And just I think our collaborations were really special. I felt like the way that I was walking was really setting the pace for this film. And I think Matt Damon also benefited from me being a part of that project too as well.
Yeah,
That's another story for
Hey.
another day.
It
Drop
is?
the line. Drop
you
the
don't want
line.
to tell us how you got Jason Bourne?
come on, Jeremy. We are here. I'm fucking.
You don't want to.
teeing
You
you
want
on.
to tell the people how you got
we're
Jason
No,
getting
we're
Bourne?
not.
away.
We are in a Nolan
This will
movie.
be
We
something
need
that
to
we'll
hear this.
constantly bring up, and I'll just tell you guys a little bit more and more each time.
Oh my God.
On how I worked with the greatest director on the planet,
And
Christopher
possibly
Nolan.
best leading man alive.
But you should tell them. You should tell them how you had the Batman Michael Caine moment with him, because that's kind of with Chris Nolan.
Which
where
which
he
moment is
saw
that?
you.
I've had,
You remember
I've
how
had
you
so
said
many.
you-
I'm sorry. Like I
You
just
saw him and he saw you, and you guys did the Michael Caine Christian Bale nod.
Also love how
we
you're being
didn't.
humble.
No, that did
You're
not
being-
happen. That did not happen. I did have a really cool moment of like our holding was in this really cool movie theater, like old school movie theater, and there was this like rich history all on the walls, and I was just like roaming through the the walls of the theater because I was like, yo, like this is dope, like all this history of film. And I went through these doors, which are like basically the main entrance to the theater, and Nolan was just like standing there like in his glory, just like getting ready for like his scene that he was getting ready to do just by himself. And it took everything in me to not say anything to him and scream like a little fangirl of like who he was. But that was that's just the innocence in me. But then once I recognized the situation. The performance came out in me, and the professional came out in me. The artist, most importantly, came out in me. And I just made sure that Chris knew that his movie
And
was in good hands with me. Making sure that I
there
was
are
able to
there are no
deliver the
small
scene.
roles, Jeremy. There are no small roles.
There are no small. Hey, background, we filled the room, so I'm not gonna let you ever dog background because, like, yeah, you want to make something realistic, you're gonna need some people in the background making it happen.
Jeremy asking Chris, he's like, do you want me to walk a little faster, a little slower? Like, I could do this a million different ways.
Yeah.
I can walk.
How do you feel about me having a limp? That's kind of like we're on the, like, really kind of matches
character.
the narrative of the story and where we're trying to go. Like, how do you feel if I carry a limp as I'm like,
It's like I went for a deployment and then I came back, and that's why I'm here, because I want to go back, but I can't because my leg.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
broken.
It's like, my leg is torn up. It's like, we're building this bomb. Are we not building this bomb? Like, I feel like a limp kind of helps tell that story. It's just kind of, he obviously, of course, didn't acknowledge that. But,
my favorite thing is that
nonetheless.
you're being fake boastful about the like small experiences, but the big experience you're being humble about, and we'll save that for another day. I like
No,
the
in all
teaser.
honesty, like, I thought it was the best day of my life when it first happened. Like, I think I texted you guys that. I was like, this is the best day of my life. Like, you guys don't understand, like, what's happening.
No, you didn't text
really
us
cool.
until it came. You didn't tell anybody. And also, you have
No,
three
I didn't.
kids.
I'm pretty sure I
You have
texted
three
you guys
kids, and
that
that's the
day.
best day of your life?
Yeah. I love you, Cohen. I'm married to a beautiful woman. Chris is special.
Chris is special.
And his wife's name is not Chris.
His wife's name. He's not talking about his wife.
He's not talking about his wife.
Christopher.
Man.
All right, who
appreciate
wants to go
the
first with the
honesty,
Odyssey, though? Who wants to go first with the Odyssey, though?
We're going to go around and ask each other a question each, and then see where the conversation goes from there. So where do you want to go? Brick?
My question kind of, I guess mine kind of fits better last, actually.
All right.
Okay, big surprise. Go ahead, Justin.
I'll go first because this actually kind of works with the fact that we were just kind of talking about Oppenheimer and Germ's experience. When I got out of this film, I instantly saw the connection between Oppenheimer and this. Odysseus and Oppenheimer are actually kind of very similar characters. They're both brilliant. They're both arrogant. And they both, in this war that they're a part of, decide to use, let's say, a tactic that is unconventional, right? Oppenheimer building the atomic weapon, the Trojan horse really genuinely being the equivalent of unconventional warfare for this time. And the result is, in their arrogance, they didn't realize that they may have won the war, but they might have broke the world in the process. So my first question is, like, what do you guys feel about parallels between what you see in the Odyssey versus like any other Chris Nolan work?
What's funny is I didn't pick up on that until my second viewing, because the first time it was just more like shock and awe, like this was a kid in a candy store, just give me my popcorn and I want to enjoy this. And then the second time is when I kind of made those kind of parallels like you were talking about. And what's funny was, of course, our phones and our algorithms are all, know exactly what we're thinking. And then I'm hit up with just nonstop Nolan interviews where he's commenting on that. And it's like, it kind of hits you over the head, like how you don't see it at first. I don't know. But yeah, like the Trojan horse, the atomic bomb, these two smart, arrogant guys who kind of create something that, like you said, like I think we may have destroyed the world. So that is a very interesting parallel to me in the two movies, because they're both set 3,000 plus years apart from each other, and one's Greek mythology and one's our history. So I just thought that was it was a pretty cool through line, because at the end of the day, people are people.
I think that, I wrote this down too, was both movies are dripping with regret. I like the they really, he did not verbalize the regret until the end, and I really loved how that blossomed. I mean, you could really feel it. Interesting to see what it would be like on the second view, when he expressed his regret to his wife Penelope at the end. But I thought the same thing, Justin. And when I watched Oppenheimer while I was doing it, and Nolan has this thing, and I don't know why, is that what he's trying to say in his, I have this thing, I want to see what filmmakers, I want to know what is going on in their life to be like, why are they saying this? So I kind of have theories and stuff. And two of the movies I've seen in the theater, I was like, oh, I think he's referring to this. Like in Oppenheimer, when he was talking to Einstein and he says, what I'm going to do might light the atmosphere on fire. And he's got those eyes. And then I realized Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie as the evil guy. I'm like, oh, well, this is talking about him regretting what he's done with superhero movies and how that has taken over and kind of eroded the thing that he loved the most about movies. And the business itself. I felt that in the seat, and I think that was the intent, and I felt that same sentiment in this one too. I don't know if it was about superhero movies. I think it had a lot more to do with his family. Like, he was really speaking on a personal level of, maybe. But the whole Trojan horse thing, it kind of made me think of the same thing of what you said. Like, maybe it was like him doubling down on that theme, which makes me kind of like the movie less because he didn't really have much new to say in terms of underneath it all. But I thought the execution, especially the way it built, was great. But I did see that parallel, Justin.
I mean, there's so much. I feel like with every Nolan movie, as always, every time you watch it, something new happens. You could watch a movie once, you could watch it 10 times, and you're going to learn something new each time. I've only seen this movie once, and like, Marvel is like just the best thing that I could take away from this. It was so moving. And the biggest thing, like, I wanted to ask you guys is, like,
Marvel, the adjective, not the company. Like, you
not the
marveled
company.
at it?
No. Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting word to
Like,
use. In
yes.
this
Like,
scenario.
I see what you're saying with, like, the superhero connections, and Justin, like, and Brick, I completely agree with you that, like, there are parallels, and he's talked about it with like what his larger message is about, like, these things that we do as human beings, with this immense power and how we choose to utilize it.
Great power,
Uh, yes, the Spider-Man reference.
great
But
responsibility.
I wanted to ask you guys, like, what was a scene that really moved you? And to me, it was like the biggest scene that moved me was, him talking to his wife and really just kind of basically, like, coming to repentance of, like, what he's done. And I don't know, I loved that scene so much because I think that as dark, as gloomy, as monstrous as they were, realizing that they were the monsters of the sea, I think it was important to add in that element of, like, you can, like, address your flaws and you can be better for it after that. And I think that like, especially with Athena, with Zendaya did great. Like, I think with that, her even coming to tears in that moment kind of highlights what I'm kind of trying to say with, like, I think that humanity needs to remember the importance of, like, forgiveness and acknowledging, like, the things that you do wrong. And that I thought that was a really powerful scene and the best scene in the movie to me. And in all the movies, wondering how great it was. That scene to me was the most important. What was a scene that moved you guys the most?
Yeah, I'll come in first because first I'm just gonna add a little antidote to what you just said about that Zendaya scene. That is, of all the twists Nolan has done throughout his career, and he's had some magnificent plot twists. That is the most impactful. The moment that, spoilers ahead, everybody, sorry, but the moment you realize Zendaya's character is not really Athena, and the way he strung that his guilt was manifesting as though he was talking to Athena, but she was really that girl that they murdered, a reminder of what they really did with Troy, because we always view Troy and the Trojan horse as this glorification, and Odysseus is the great hero, yet he's carrying that burden with him, and it's manifesting that way. The way Nolan used Athena as the vessel, because it is, to the source material, he does see Athena, but in the source material, it's Athena. But the way Nolan flipped it with that was just impactful, and it ties into what my most impactful scene to me was that scene with Cersei, Samantha Morton, who I've been a huge stan of throughout her whole career. Very underrated actress. In such a short amount of time, I think might need to get herself a fancy dress come March when the Oscars come around, because
What else is she in?
that scene, Samantha Morton, the TV show Harlots, she was Minority Report. She's the precog. Tom Cruise. Yeah.
She's a precog. Sorry, continue. But
yeah.
she's the one that turns them into pigs.
Yes. So that scene with Cersei, another way that he kind of like flipped it into like where she was coming from with this preemptive strike that she pulled on his men, even though they technically hadn't done anything to her. But so much trauma had already been done to her that she was like, I'm not taking the risk. And when she lays it out to him that she's like, you're pigs. You guys are pigs. Like when we talk about war and all this, and we talk about the Trojan War and, all these soldiers, we think of it in such a glorified, romanticized way with the mythology. But what he did with the mythology is he stripped it down to like, what would this really look like? And this war would have been ugly. It would have been, and the effects on it. And to Jeremy's point about when you find out another dope twist that they're the sea people. It's them. It's all the people coming home from the war who have broken this sacred Zeus's law. And she's breaking Zeus's law, but she's doing it preemptively because she's been violated so many times by them that's how he broke the world with just this. And so like that Samantha Morton Cersei scene was just incredible in the way he flipped that, as opposed to, how that plays out in the source material, I thought was really genius. And the way her performance, she linked it actually to the source material, because Cersei and him are lovers in the source material, if you're not familiar with the Odyssey. And they didn't do that exactly, but if you rewatch that scene the second time I watched it and I was watching her, she's looking at him as though she is pleading to a lover. And
Cersei and him were lovers?
I thought it was Calypso.
Calypso, I thought.
Both. He was lovers with both in the
He was
original
getting
story.
it.
Yeah. But she was looking at him as though she was looking at like an ex-lover. And I thought that was such an interesting choice, that like there was just so much there that was unsaid between them in that moment of connection that they had, and ultimately her decision to let his men go. So that was my favorite scene.
I would say that, I mean, I had a few, but the one that stood out to me was, it's funny, I did not realize that they were the sea people. I didn't get that until you guys just said it. I understand that that's what he was alluding to, but I think it was one of those, this happened to me during Interstellar, is that I was so grabbed by the spectacle that I missed that. Like Interstellar, I was like, this is a really visually cool movie, but it didn't land on me until 10 years later when I watched it during the strike, where I was like, oh my God, this is breaking me emotionally. And so I didn't catch that part of the plot. However, the moment that he expresses, and it's the moment that made me realize that this movie had something to say and that it's different than any other Odyssey thing, because it took the subtext of that poem, the epic poem, and Nolan's interpretation is the Trojan horse broke the Zeus's law. That's nothing I've ever understood or heard. That to me was an interpretation. And he answered of what, like, Odysseus didn't want to come home. And I don't remember that ever being a part of the story either, but that analysis.
I don't think it's a part of the original poem.
No, it's not. And he's using his lens. And I saw his lens when and I loved that scene when he's the beggar and talking to Penelope and through the veil. And I also thought that was very interesting that because there was a couple scenes with extreme close-ups where they lost focus. And I looked it up, and I guess it's because IMAX is very difficult to pull focus. And so if you're moving at all in the scene when it's an extreme close-up, like Anne Hathaway went out of focus in her Oscar speech to Tom Holland. And I realized then that through the veil, when they were talking through the veil, he nullified that issue because she didn't need to be completely in focus when she was behind. So there was a lot of talking through things. And so those are the two. I loved the innovation of filmmaking while the expressive contrition that Matt Damon's character showed. And it just made me realize, like, this guy's so underrated as an actor. He blew me away. And so that's the moment that I would say moved me.
You think Matt Damon is underrated as an actor?
I do. He doesn't get nominated, and he doesn't get talked about as one of the greats along with
nominated.
No. I'm saying he should be up there with Denzel. He should be up there with, like,
I see what you're saying.
He should be up there with, like, the craft of acting, like, because he does action, he does everything. And maybe it's because he does a lot of cameos and smaller parts. But he can do anything. The only thing I didn't like him in was Elysium. And that was really more that I was upset that I heard that it was going to be Eminem before him, and I was like, I couldn't get that out of my head. But that's the only thing I ever saw him in. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. That is 1 out of 50 movies I've seen him in that he doesn't hit it out of
the
Brick, what do you think?
Yes, Aaron John.
So
Arthur Aaron, you beggar, wake up, beggar.
Mine's not. There's so
Plate
many
liquor.
scenes. There are so many scenes you could choose from. Mine's kind of like a series, and it's all kind of the foreshadowing of his reveal. And it's just like, when he's when he's going to the temple to save his son, to get there before the suitors can kill him, Mentor recognizes him as Mentor's dying, right? And then, his dog recognizes him. And when the woman is, like, washing his feet, she recognizes the scar that she stitched, and she recognizes him. Those
great.
little moments were just so, I don't know why those small little moments were so impactful to me. I guess, like, we're in a theater full of people, who Odysseus is. No one else does, apparently, 20 years after never seeing him. And then just, like, the little moments, Mentor's on his deathbed, literally dying, being poisoned, and his face, he recognizes him. And, like, it's just like that relief, like, oh, help's here. You know what I mean? Like,
Chekhov's foot scar.
yeah, the foot scar, like, the woman, she realized she's been in the castle for 20 years. She knows, she imagine the sense of peace that came over her after her startlement, where she's like, oh my God, Odysseus is back. Like, he's gonna take care of things. You know what I mean? And then, like, obviously just the loyal dog, the loyal companion that he saved from an untimely death. being thrown off the cliff there. Just his dog waited 20 years to see him, 18 years, I guess, whatever it was, to see him again, and just died the second he recognized him. So like those little moments to me, probably were my favorite throughout the movie. But I mean, there's so many great things that stuck out. I guess another one, if I can steal another one, was the siren scene where you don't know
Hell
what they're saying. You don't know what they're saying, but it's, obviously we all know it's Promiscuous Girl by Nelly Furtado.
Wherever you are,
Promiscuous girl.
he's right there. I can see her. I'm all
that
alone.
scene-
No, you're not. You're with a bunch of other ones.
See?
Is that Timberland beat? That's a Timberland.
Yeah, you know it is. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
There's a reel out there that says I can't believe Promiscuous Girl, and it's funny.
Dude, I was gonna laugh initially on that, but because he looked like he was like painfully horny, and it was like I couldn't believe he was. I mean it, and then it went from that to like a pure like sorrow cry. That's why that was the moment. Brick, sorry to jump in there, but I was like, this is elite. This was about to be a bit and a meme, and he nullified the potential for it to be just a meme because it's bad, and then put it into like a full thought process without dialogue.
Well, that's why I think that's one of the more impactful scenes of the movie, because you don't have to hear what, like, it's a universal thing. Like, you don't have to hear what they said, and it's even before Odysseus tells you what the song was, and it's all about regret and how he can't ever go back to what he had or whatever it was. And that right there, that's so, that's a through line to just anybody. It's so relatable. So that was probably like the one scene answer, but my favorite,
Don't forget Ludwig on that one too. And
there you go. I mean, his score, we could do a whole podcast on the score. In my opinion, I thought it was that good, but no, like the little moments where people recognize them, those three scenes, and then culminating with, well, I guess not culminating with, I can never say his name right. Telemachus. And then, like, when he recognized him, he never seen him before. He just knew. So those were like the really like the satisfying payoffs for me, because it's just like it was the build up to what's to come, and then the culmination was when I was about to say the beggar, when the suitor is like, "You're Odysseus," and then like a second later he gets fucking yanked in the throat. That was like just the payoff for that, like those little
that
scenes.
Was so satisfying when he shot him in the neck.
It was so satisfying, and I think that was honestly my biggest takeaway, because I'm sitting in the movie, and obviously we all know it's Odysseus. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't, and so like his son recognizing him, the dog recognizing him, mentor recognizing him, and then everyone recognizing him. And then it was the immediate death of that guy, which was, bringing, to light what I thought, like, like that woman washing his feet, like, oh my God, it's Odysseus. Like, he's going to take care of business. And immediately when he's recognized by the suitors, he takes care of business.
Do you think Penelope recognized him when he was a beggar at all, Jeremy? What do you think?
I think she suspected. I think that there was an inkling in her that he could be.
And that's why she did the axe setup, I think.
I think that's what I was thinking, like, when it happened, because the way she responded to, everybody going through it, and then he never got up. Like, if you go back and watch the scene and watch her demeanor, it's as if she was anticipating something. That she was anticipating, like, he's out there. Like, and maybe
he's in this room. So that's why I thought
that's what I'm saying. She's like, he's in this room.
I didn't think that. I thought that, like, if she set up for the axes, like you said, and all that, I think she knew in that moment that if he's not coming back, like, if he's coming back, he's coming back for this. Like, he's around. I didn't think that she thought that was when he was disguised, that was him. I didn't think that.
Yes, because I keep going back and forth on it, because she was gonna kill whomever won, but for it to be that, her to be that confident to set everything up, and it's like she was like, "This is what we're doing." Bop 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 bop. She had the plan to be that certain. But correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she say like if nothing happens, then she was gonna kill them, or like what was the ultimatum if he didn't?
I don't think
show
she
up?
ever flat out said that, but when she said to bar the doors, I think it was implied that nobody's getting out of this alive.
Yeah, that's why I thought she knew. But I can see the other way. But her actions after her meeting with the beggar, that was.
That's
I
what
think
I
the
thought.
beggar
I
gave her
thought that
hope,
she
though.
had
I'm not sure she
suspected
thought
that
it was
he
him,
was.
but because he was the first person who had genuinely actually seen Odysseus, right?
Yeah, I agree with
Because she had been waiting for someone who had actually seen, and this was the first person who passed the test. So I don't know if she necessarily thought it was him, but she felt hope for the first
agree with
time.
that.
So maybe it was a fool's hope that she's like, because he didn't say Odysseus was dead to her. So I think she was maybe hoping like, okay, now's the time. If he's going to reveal himself, to Brick's point, it's going to be now. If Odysseus is going to reveal himself, it's now.
That's what I was trying to say.
There
too.
were signs. There were signs.
There were signs. That's what I thought. Like,
there were signs.
It was now or never, and she knows. When that guy passed her test, because she knew that guy wasn't lying, that he had seen Odysseus or he had been with Odysseus, and so
because he
in her
carried
eyes,
the
in her eyes, it was time now to she can finally make this decision to I will marry whichever one can pass my test. Although she barred the doors for a reason. I don't know what the plan would have been, but
probably burn it down, right?
You would think.
What do you think, Jerem?
Thinking about like, because I really do think that she did have a feeling towards, maybe if you don't want to say that she thought that the beggar was Odysseus, then that's one thing. But I do think that she thought he was there. That's me.
Yeah.
Like from the performance perspective, I thought she believes that he's here. And
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just think about, his whole journey. She also had her own journey through this whole movie, and his was about getting home, and I think to a degree so was hers. She was trying to also get home, but her home was a little bit different in the sense of like the peace that she once knew in her relationship with her partner, and
the home in her heart.
Yeah, like the home in her heart. Right, the home in her heart. And that's that scene is with the axes is kind of her like final test, and for herself, to be able to, are you going to be able to get home, or has the idea of what your home had gone away? And I think that him being there, that feeling that the beggar gave her was, very similar to the hope that Odysseus had, that he was going to be able to overcome all the things that he'd done to go ahead and pursue going home. Like that part of his journey is mirroring her, like in the axe scene, that it was time for them to face it. And I think that like she did know. I'd like to think she know. But I actually have another question for you guys that kind of goes back to what Justin had kind of mentioned, what I kind of mentioned. But is Zendaya's character Athena, or is she just the memory of the girl that was killed? Like the to me, I think that it was Athena, but Athena presented herself as the girl.
I think it was Athena presenting herself as that girl, and in his mind, he basically like it's like using somebody else's face to as a stand-in for this god. So I think like her soul and her being was Athena, but I think the physical manifestation was this poor innocent girl that was slaughtered in front of him.
I had a thought on this. I think there's a third element to this, and I think that it is the potential reason why he casts Zendaya specifically, because I think when you see the little girl of the daughter of Agamemnon and Helen of Troy's sister, I don't remember her name.
Clemenstra or something like that.
She's got
Clemenstra.
She's got curls, and she's the same. She's a mixed baby, and for a second I was like, oh, wait, is that? And then when it reveals it later, I thought that she also embodied that sacrifice. Like, I also didn't know if maybe that was the daughter, the one that got killed. Maybe that was the daughter of Agamemnon. And so that was a potential. Did you guys catch that either? Because it's
I mean, I
like,
saw the daughter, but I didn't think that.
I
had a
think-
thought
yeah.
of that as well. As like, was this his daughter? Like, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
because why else would you cast Zendaya and you've got Lupita Nyong'o and like that? She looks like she could totally be their kid, and I thought that was very clever, and
I don't
I
think
felt
there's
intentional
anything.
a little bit.
I don't think there's anything
I don't
in
think
the
it was
movie that
intentional
sets that up.
in that context. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that. I think it was intentional in that context. I stand by what I said earlier. Like, you saw that girl get executed. Now, it's possible. Was that actually Athena just presenting herself as that girl that he had been thinking about?
That's what I think it is.
Very
That's what I
much
think.
so.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Like, that's
that-
what I think.
I think so.
That checks with the lore of Greek mythology. However, I'll propose this. I was very curious what Chris Nolan would do, because historically Chris Nolan hasn't been really much of a fantasy guy. He's very grounded and everything. And so I remember thinking before this, what was he going to do about the gods element of this? And the reason why I stick with that is not actually Athena and it's his own is that there is no definitive proof of the existence of any other gods. He intentionally removed Poseidon, who has a major role, Hermes, who has a major role. You never see definitive proof of any of them. The only thing they ever say is the grounded version, which is, oh, well, you heard the thunder, you saw the waves. That's Poseidon, right? The only one you ever see is this Athena, but then you eventually catch a glimpse that there was a girl that looked like this that got executed. So that's why
Wasn't Calypso a god?
Calypso's a
well,
nymph.
not really, no.
She's a nymph, which is like a semi demigod, but
Demigod-ish, yeah. I think Calypso's a child of Poseidon. It's been a while.
I think
mythology. But
think
they
they're-
never
they're
showed
all right.
definitive proof of gods outside of, okay, well, Athena's here, but then he gave you a reason to even question if she was actually that. So that's why I think, given Nolan's history of everything is very much grounded in something real and human, I think he very intentionally was making it seem like all these things that they're calling the gods are just really manifestations of what's really going on up here.
that actually leads me to my question, because you missed one. You missed a mythical creature, and I would say, my question. I'll start with this. I thought Polyphemus, Cyclops, displayed some specific qualities. I thought that he's smart. He made cheese. I don't know how to make cheese. He is a leader. He has a whole flock following him, and he's strong and good with the rock. So what I think is, and my question to you is, if I'm going to choose a fictional character to be the 5 on my team, it's going to be Polyphemus, because he's smart, leadership skills, strong. That is a Steven Adams. That is a Mark Eden. That is a Sean Bradley.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that he's like 26 feet tall and why he played the center. The fact that he's a sheep herder was before the fact that he's a 26-foot tall monster.
That he has, anybody can have height. Anybody can have height.
Oh, yeah?
But when you have those skills with being 26 feet tall, he doesn't need to score. He just needs to be his presence there. Okay, it is undeniable. And look at how tough he was. He got hit in the eye 3 times, and he still went down the hill and yacked apart one of those boats. He didn't need to do that, but the fire inside of him forced him to, and that's the kind of things that I want in a guy getting a rebound for my squad. So my question is, for you guys,
boat, did he?
he yacked apart that one of the boats.
He did.
He did.
Yeah, he
thought it
didn't
was
need
good.
to.
I
That's a
think he did.
technical foul. That is
don't
out
think
of
so.
passion, and I love that. So my question to you guys
I don't
is:
think he got any of the boats.
No, I don't think he did. I think Brooks.
no,
right.
he did.
That
I
was the other
guarantee
judge.
you he did. That is
Okay.
the
It was
reason
the
that
other.
made me
It was
think
the
of this.
Lagrathimians or whatever they were called.
No, he comes in.
'Cause he
Well,
had 3 boats, and 2 of them get fucked up after they go to the giant island, the tall people island.
all right, whatever. He still went down and tried to kill them at the
Listen,
end. So my question
with
to you
one eye,
guys:
that free throw percentage is going to be abysmal. I'm just
We
telling
don't
you
need
that
it.
right now. If-
Will Chamberlain was 40% from the free throw line.
we are doing
It doesn't matter.
Hack a Cyclops because he can't
is
shoot
the-
free throws.
Hackaphemus. That's fine. So my
What's the question?
let me get to my question. My question is, if you were to have to choose a fictional character for a 5 on your fictional character team, and this could be a thing throughout of like, we could build our team. We're going to start with the 5 right now. Who would your center be in your fictional person starting 5?
From this movie?
Any movie. So you can think about it, and once Brick, you're done with your question, we can go back to it. But there's
I'm gonna
one
go
guaranteed
with
one.
the finger of God from Twister, which is an F5 tornado.
That's not it's not anthropomorphic. You're gonna put a tornado at the 5?
Your
Uh,
Cyclops can't handle an F5 tornado. You
I
see
mean,
that
off of
mile wide.
That's not
I know who my
anthropomorphic.
point guard's
off of
gonna be.
pure size, Galacticus, the planet eater, like
Galactus, you mean?
Galactus, whatever. Galactus, bro. Like
Not
just
the
size.
cloud. We're talking about the new one from last year.
I'm talking about the giant thing that eats planets.
No, I know, but I'm
nobody's
saying,
scoring on me if my center can just eat everything around you.
he needs the
I
rock
don't know.
too much. He needs the rock. He needs the rock so much that he has to take a planet. You can't have a balanced team when someone needs a rock that bad.
I don't need a balanced team. I only need. I could win with 4 ants and Galactus.
So you're gonna build your team around it like it's Shaq.
Yeah, there's no answer after that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Polyphemus
Airbud.
he gets
Airbud.
boards. He's
give me Airbud.
Airbud.
Airbud
Give me
is a
Airbud.
5.
He's positionless. He can do whatever. He'll do it all.
Airbud is the
Airbud.
5. So you're what is it? That's like
What are my choices? He's got Galactus or whatever his name is. Like, what am I good? I got to get through a tornado. If I can make it through the Cyclops, I got to make it through a tornado, and then Galactus. My best chance is Airbud. What am I gonna do?
The answer is obvious. Lulla Bunny.
Polyphemus, the Cyclops can totally handle a tornado. He was in 40 feet of water and still going after he got hit in his eye 3 times. That is hustle. That's Dennis Rodman level. Let me get this board.
That was plain calm water, not an F5 tornado.
F5 tornado is a mile wide. Ask Joe.
I think-
Ask Joe. She'll tell you.
This
Ask
guy,
Joe.
that's fine.
Ask Joe.
Okay,
She
the
must
finger
have
of
that.
God. Can the finger
The
of God
F5
eat
is
cheese
busted,
and have
dude.
the patience and smarts to make cheese out of his goat's milk and have the restraint to not eat the goats? An F5
But,
tornado
like,
is just pure
as big
chaos.
as Polyphemus is, and as big as a tornado is, if you got a thing that's literally eating planets, what are we talking about? Give me Airbud in this fictional roster, and maybe
As a
he
5.
maybe he can surprise you with, like, every dog he rolls over, he gets his pets, and then he attacks.
I really don't think anybody but Airbud and Foghorn Leghorn really stand any sort of chance against Galactus.
Wait, what is
Maybe
Foghorn
Bugs-
Leghorn going to do?
They
Just
killed
talk him to
Foghorn
death?
Leghorn.
They
Be
killed
racist?
Foghorn Leghorn. I wish I grew up in the land of cotton. Come on, bro.
I say, if
Foghorn
I was
Leghorn.
big enough, I'd eat planets. I say, I just get
Foghorn
chicken feed. I'm a rooster.
They killed
Brick,
Foghorn Leghorn.
what was your question?
Wait, well,
that's my
Jeremy
question.
didn't tell me what he's gonna do. Who would you
He said
draft?
F5.
Jeremy? Oh, F5.
He said
That's right.
F5.
You're right. Sorry. Go ahead.
So my question was about the kind of just how Nolan, and thankful for him doing everything practically, very little CGI. So my question is kind of like setting up for beyond the Odyssey. How much do you think this movie is going to impact or affect filmmaking going forward to get back to using practical things? Because clearly the audience is rewarding the studio and the theater business with going to see this movie in droves because I think they're craving something. And this is like, obviously there's a little CGI in this movie, but like it's mostly practical. Like the way that they did this is very cool. And it's like, I wanted to ask this question because I feel like CGI has taken a dive, man. It sucks. It's worse than video game quality at this point. And I mean that in like I'm not saying video game quality is bad because video games look legit
It's
these
incredible
days.
now, yeah.
But it's just like you can tell it is fake. And I'm like, I go back to, Davy Jones in 2005 in the Pirates of the Caribbean,
Right.
dude, that looks
2007,
real as hell. And I look at, even Spider-Man that like I saw that last night and the Brand New Day. And as much as I like that movie, there's a lot of, you could tell this is fake in there. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of real fighting too. So like,
the fighting's, yeah, that's fine. That's real. But I'm just saying like the CGI can be done in a great way. And it feels like it's taken a step back. And as we keep seeing these movies come out, like Alien Romulus that came out last year, that movie was great, but there was some bad CGI in it. And I'm just like, the audience is smart. We have eyes. You can be taken out of a movie just how bad something is, looks wise. Like that Masters of the Air show, I couldn't stand it because look at the scene where like the planes are all taken off. It looks like a video game circa 2015. So it's just like it takes me out of it. And so the audience is clearly responding to this movie, and it's because it's Christopher Nolan and it's got all this stuff going for it. It's an A-list cast and blah, 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 blah. But like, I think that like the major takeaway is you're seeing this movie done practically, and it's very cool. And I'm just curious, do you guys think studios will have a tendency to move forward and say, all right, maybe we should spend a little bit of extra money and go back to doing things the old way?
I'll start. I'm going to start by saying Christopher Nolan has won major battles before when film was trending one way, and IMAX is proof of that, right? If you recall, when he started IMAX in 2008, everybody was doing 3D, and he won the war. Now every movie shot in IMAX. Who shoots in 3D anymore? Very rare. Not gone, but very rare. And I pair that with, because of the fact that this time around, the practical effects have been on the forefront of the marketing campaign in and of itself. And everybody is talking about the practical effects at levels, even though he's been doing practical effects in all of his films. This is the one where people are genuinely blown away. And I also want everybody to add to this when you answer the question, tell your favorite practical effect in this film. But to Brick's point, I think this time it's going to be different because of the fact that everybody is responding directly to the fact that the effects are practical. I think it's going to cause a shift where a lot of filmmakers are going to start saying, maybe we should start going more practical, because to answer the question about Brick wondering why CGI feels worse, it's not that the tech is worse. It's really a matter of time, more than anything else. And the problem is they're asking the tech to do something beyond, because truthfully, they're just cutting corners with it. They think they can, it's this fix it in post era of filmmaking that needs to die. That's leading to all of that, because the reason why Davy Jones looks as good today as it did 20 years ago, I think it is actually 20 years ago.
They spent 3 years on it. They shot it in 2004.
They spent 3 years. They got ready for, like, it was planned. Everything was, they did as much in camera to prep for that. But that's not how they're doing things now. Everything is so streamlined to stay on these really just unrealistic schedules.
Yeah.
That's what's killed VFX. It's not that the tech is worse. It's that the time is not practical for what they want to do. Hence, Godzilla -1 with $15 million looked better than movies that have 10x their budget. So I do think we are going to see a shift. My favorite practical effect was hands down the little people with the giants. to create the
Yeah.
illusion that they were
Have you
giants
seen the
and
picture of
using
the?
little women.
Justin,
Yes,
like, you were the
it's
one,
my
I think,
favorite
that told
picture in
me
the
that.
world right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
the little using a little woman to be Matt Damon. That's
She was
buff,
like
a muscle
4'11"
mammy,
and
a
she
little
was shredded.
tiny muscle mammy, and then just some huge mountain-sized dude to create the illusion. Because I knew they were using forced perspective like Lord of the Rings, but what blew me away in that scene was the hard thing about forced perspective is you can't really be moving. It can't really be that dynamic most of the time. But like this was a dynamic scene, and I was like, how is he forced perspectiving moving like this? And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's so clever. So that was my favorite practical effect. That was
You
the
took
using the
mine.
little people and
That's what I was
people.
thinking
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with my center here. I'm gonna go with my 5.
He was dope. Like that was good too. So that
The
wasn't
puppet,
CGI.
That was very. That
Puppet
was
was
very.
puppet is
incredible.
crazy.
And I loved
the puppet's crazy.
There's only one time where I was like, "This is a puppet," but I kind of loved it. It was when the arm was hanging when he was sleeping, and it was going like this. And Jeremy, do you I remember like being background and stand-in on the Star Wars. What's it? Skeleton Crew. I did that a few years ago as a stand-in, and the puppeteers they are so locked in, and I was fascinated by there's a puppeteer working a mask, and there was like someone was working the eyes, another person was working the mouth, the other person was working the ears, and it is in conjunction. And I also remember seeing the worst musical I've ever seen in my life is a King Kong musical on Broadway. It was awful, but I mean, it was horrible. They were singing about anyway, we're not going to get into that. The puppeteering from that was also one of the best things I've ever seen in my life, because there was someone working each leg and each arm, and so puppeteering is such a unappreciated art, and just that subtle thing of him with the way someone's hand would move when they're sleeping in a weird position, and then having to go underneath his fingernails in order to get there. And you could see there was a little bit of CGI in there, but it was only to put all the parts together. And that was my favorite practical effect. And I have my buddy of mine who works in VFX was telling me exactly what you just said, Justin, and Brick. Video games are so much better. Like Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be better than half the movies that we watch, because they've taken 8 years to make it. And I think the last thing I'll say about it is I don't necessarily think that it's the just the practical effects and why audiences are responding this way. I think audiences are responding this way, and the studios, what they should learn from this is to trust the filmmaker and artist with their vision. The generational movies that have come out in the last 5 years are all 0 notes, director has final cut, and 0 meddling. And I think at the core of it, when someone has a vision and they can communicate that vision to a financiers or whatever it is, and they have the ability to execute that vision as the best of their ability within their budget, that is what's leading to this success more than anything. I think that's at the core of it. What do you think, Jeremy?
Justin took mine. Like I thought that
Oh, you
like
did? Oh, yeah.
the little buff women was I would have never
didn't know
thought to
that.
do something like that. Like I was like, that is so clever to do, and then just get a whole bunch of 7-foot dudes, and and it will give the effect. That was something that like I was like, this is like so cool that he was able to do that, and I didn't actually know that about the. I thought that the Cyclops was CGI, but you're saying it was a puppet the whole time.
It was a puppet.
It was a
yeah.
puppet. The only thing that was
it was a huge puppet. But then the guy who plays Tars or whatever, that actor, he filmed his scenes in camera. Like that was all real.
when
It's
he was
Lou Who
against
from The
wall.
Grinch. He played Lou Who in The Grinch.
Yeah,
I love
wow.
The Grinch. It's one of my favorite
He
movies
was,
of all time. Cindy Lou
wait-
Who's dead.
He was legitimately 20 plus feet tall. and they use different limbs and stuff, but it was legit, and especially in the cave. And it's actually smart too, because there's not a lot of lighting in the cave, so you can get away with a lot because you're just going by firelight. That's really, really, really smart filmmaking, because it's like, well, this isn't going to be daylight, and it's like, we'll save the CGI for the daylight, but we will make him feel real for 15 minutes while you're in the cave with him, so you're not questioning any bit of uncanny valley in the CGI.
Well, I will say one of the coolest things in the movie, CGI wise, is how they did that CGI practically, because the whirlpool. And what I loved about the whirlpool was that it wasn't like, an ocean-sized whirlpool that like is just like what they would have done if it was just all, CGI, right? It was like something very digestible to the human eye. If you saw it, it's like, it's, 35 feet across or something like that. It was not very, big, but it was big enough to take that ship down. But the way they did it was, I don't know if you guys know this, Nolan had a bunch of, or I don't know how many, guys on jet skis going around and around in circles,
Get
so
the
he could
fuck outta
give,
here.
the digital creator,
I didn't know
the
that.
ripples to work from to make so
Yeah.
like even when he uses CGI, he's doing it in a practical
doing it in a
way.
practical
and
way.
and
Yeah. And
that's
that's what
pretty. That's
I want to
cool.
add to that, because like it is a little misleading, for because like Nolan's never actually said there's no VFX, and I know a lot of the actors say that because they kind of don't understand that
Minimal. It's minimal.
he uses VFX the exact way you should, which is get as much in camera as possible and use CG to fill. But when you're leaning just heavily on CG everything and you didn't capture anything in camera, and a lot of times there was no VFX supervisor on set, so they didn't light it right to begin with, because shooting for a VFX shot is very different than shooting it the way you would shoot the Cyclops if it was real, in the event that it was like all that.
And anybody
So,
who
like,
thinks in Inception, if the city's actually folding in on itself, is a moron. That's not
What are you
actually.
talking about? What are you talking about?
Oh, you don't know that?
No,
Brett?
he did that. He really flipped.
He did.
France.
He flipped Paris.
He flipped France.
He went to Macaroon. He went to Macaroon and he said, "I would like to build a rig that flips France."
Oh, he flipped France. So you probably learned that from Hitler. Anyway.
But that's the way, right? Because you think about the Matrix. A perfect example of a movie that 26 years later still looks as good as it ever did, because so much was done in camera, and the few little bits of visual effects that they added, whether it's compositing or whether it's CGI, were blended with something that was already done
Established
for the
on
most
set.
part
Yeah.
in camera. So
Yeah.
that's why I think, that's what people should do. It's not anti VFX. It's use them. Don't try to do more than what they actually are good at.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, does anybody have anything else to say? Because I think we went about 1:15.
I did, but I mean, we're
Go ahead, Jerm.
like
an
an
what
hour
might as
and
well
18,
get,
but like I wanted to talk to you guys just about like his total filmography, and like the thing that I still like, to me, like that sticks out with, like, I always say, like, what do you think the director is trying to say? And when I think about all of his films, I think the biggest thing for me that he says is like the hero to your journey, or to what you're trying to do, is you. Like, you are the hero that you're looking for. You are the person that can make the things happen in your life that you want to happen. It's always been you. And whether that is achieving something, whether that's acknowledging something, whether that's overcoming something, I see like a consistent theme with him with each one of his characters. It's like Justin had said something to me once. He's like, you are the protagonist. Like, and that's what I believe is like what he's trying to say. Think about his journey just as a filmmaker and himself, coming from making corporate videos to now being the largest, director in the world. Who you are looking for to save you, to make your dreams come true, to make things happen for you, is you. It's always been you. And the person that you're trying to be is you. And the person that you're chasing is you. And you just need to embrace that and go on this journey. And there will be highs and lows, but the person you're looking for to be the hero to come in and save your life or change your life is you.
And that's why Calypso didn't let him leave right away, because he didn't see that.
He had to see that. To me, in this,
he was not letting himself
leave. He had to realize that the only way that he was going to be able to be comfortable going home is to face what he did. That's the only way that you're going to be able to.
I don't think Calypso was holding him hostage at all. Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying she when he was saying, she was saying, I was waiting until you found yourself, or I wanted you to remember. And I based on what you said, Jeremy, that made me think that he needed to remember who he was, not just face what he'd done.
Well, yeah, like embrace who you are and not just be caught up in acts that you have done in a moment in your life. And
or instant gratification, like the lotus
putting
flower.
the context and in full, which I think is a necessary message for today, just in general. But when you look at his entire filmography, that's what I always see is like there's this a despair or like uncertainty of sorts that's coming from within somebody, and then for them to realize that the way for you to overcome it is to trust in yourself and to do this yourself and to go through this journey yourself.
I was going to piggyback on what you said, but you kind of tapped into it right there, because you were talking about the thesis of all of his work going all the way back to, I'd say, even The Following and Memento, his real early work about, you're the hero of your own story. But I would add, you're also kind of your own antagonist as well. You are the protagonist, but you're also your biggest antagonist, because both of those have been threads throughout all of his films. If you think about Memento, if you think about Insomnia, if you think
Inception,
about Batman Begins,
right,
it's always been this like thread that like you are your hero, you're also your villain, and like it's all happening within you. And I love that the flip again he put on Calypso. This time she's not actually holding him hostage, he was holding himself hostage. He was willingly taking the lotus flower instead of it being given to him as just a perfect way of illustrating like he was doing this to himself. The sirens told him, you don't actually want to go home because you don't want to face what you did. And
so does that
he was
mean
choosing
that,
to forget it? An example of that in a separate movie is Cobb. And that's what like came up to me in Inception. Cobb was running away from accepting what he did to his wife, to Mal. Like that's like he was the one that put that idea in her head that ultimately caused her demise. And he ran from that forever. Like that's why he was around the world and wasn't going home. It wasn't just because of the fact that he was, that they think that he killed it. It wasn't that. It was more so of him being like, I have to, like, I cannot accept that I did this. I'm trying to fix this, which is why every time he went into his dreams, he was trying to reconfigure to fix what he did, thinking that there was a way that he could actually fix it and not have to atone for the fact that you ultimately were the reason for her demise.
So
Coop
basically what you're
Interstellar. Coop
basically
himself.
So
like
basically
what
So basically what you're saying is, and I'm just making this connection now, is that in order to transcend you being your own antagonist, you have to become self-aware of who you are. It seems like I'm thinking of Batman in the Dark Knight. The only way to transcend the fact that he created Harvey Dent was to become the one that he's hunted, as out of contrition. Even in Memento, right? He's still the antagonist because he refuses to accept the reality that John G gives him by the end.
Right.
And so this is very, very interesting. Every movie I'm thinking in my head from top to bottom, I mean, Prestige, like who becomes the antagonist at the end? Well, it's Hugh Jackman's character, because he continues, right?
Yeah.
He just continues on the path of fantastic.
What is the line? Nobody said the line yet. It's the most famous line. You die a hero, you live long enough to become the villain.
You die a hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Yeah,
I think it's more complicated.
This man been cooking for 30 years, bro.
Wow,
for 30 years.
That's nuts, man. That's a very
incredible.
He's been slow brewing a stew for us.
Jeremy, I can't believe we almost ended without that gem. Oh my god,
It's something that I've thought about forever. I've talked to Justin about it.
He has. He's brought it up to me.
Like
before.
just watching his
We're
movies.
brothers.
There's
I
just
outrank
something
you.
that I was like, he's saying something like, and it's just consistent. That I always feel every time I watch his movies, and like I feel this same thing like every single time. But it just goes like he is. I think I consider us very lucky that we are in the age that got Christopher Nolan, and like that's something that like, you know, I think about my kids. I'm like, you guys are gonna grow up and like hear about him maybe the way we hear about Alfred Hitchcock, or the way we hear about Oscar Museau, or way we hear about Steven Spielberg, even to an extent.
Dad, how was Nolan in 70 millimeter IMAX?
Yeah.
He was special. Me with tears in my eyes. He was special. He was special.
How was Nolan? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in the theme of finding yourself and knowing who you are, you know, I think that there's what's exciting now is that we are seeing your kids' generations, Nolan's, coming forward now, and you know, I think we all have the potential to be those filmmakers, and I think you know, people will look back on this podcast after you know, we all put our movies out. That's what I think.
Eventually.
How about that?
Yes. Amen. So the next movie.
One quick thing.
No, we got the next movie.
One quick thing.
We gotta go. It's 1:26.
Yeah, we've been on this for like an hour and a half, man.
It's an Odyssey episode. Come on.
I got an. Oh, we're gonna go 2.5 hours. I got an audition. I got to knock out in like an hour.
One quick thing. We're almost done.
Okay.
One
What
quick
is your one
thing,
quick
I'll
thing,
go
Justin?
first.
Yeah.
This is I thought. I guess it's nothing to do technical about the movie or story or theme or anything like that. I just got to say, Nolan it's an experience. You know what I mean? That is what I love about a Nolan movie, is an experience, whether you like it or you don't like it. I wasn't on the Tenet side, but I still went, saw it in IMAX, and I can respect that movie was an experience. So I love going to Christopher Nolan movies because of the experience.
All right, my one quick thing. I love that this is an anti-war movie, as a person who's been following the news closely of everything that's happened in the world. And I love that at its core, this is very much like Oppenheimer, anti-war. And my partner Naomi also wanted me to add one quick thing for her. And she wants people, because she hears a lot of criticism about this film, that they're saying that they wanted it more epic and they wanted it, you know, more fantasy. And she wants to remind people, because she's actually read the source material very recently, that it's actually a very simple story.
Ooh, I like that. What about you, Jerm?
Some of the frames, the highlight ones, are when they're talking about the escaping sun, and the way that he shot the water at sunset is just magical. Like,
such a romantic.
That like
Jerm's
lives
such
in
a
my head.
romantic.
Like, just like I'm just like, man, like this is like so beautiful. And yes, I do love that. But then also, Robert Pattinson. That's it. That
Pattinson.
man. Believe.
Yes. Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. Yeah.
Robert Patterson is like a
Pattinson.
plumber somewhere.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson. Believe in him.
It's
Come a long
great.
way from Edward.
All right,
Long way.
mine's very quick. It's not necessarily about the Odyssey, but it has to do with someone who's in the Odyssey. And I just want to say, I saw Spider-Man the day before, and Tom Holland, what he did in that Spider-Man movie was incredible. And it's the Spider-Man I've been waiting for, you know, the one who's getting to his peak powers, the 90s animated series Spider-Man. And although I could tell that he's growing as an actor, being in someone like a Nolan movie, you know, he's new to that environment. I could tell he took a lot from that movie and what he learned, and from especially Matt Damon, and he just embodied Peter Parker in a way that I've been waiting my whole life to see. And the movies that he's going to make after this is Spider-Man. It's nice to know that just because it was a superhero movie, they didn't shy away from the core of it, which is what it's beyond spectacle. It's the best part about Spider-Man is that it's about his internal life, that he's dealing with real life things with also having all of these powers. And the Odyssey with great power becomes great responsibility. That kind of like was a theme throughout both. And I think not to be corny with it, but I really enjoyed both movies. And so shout out to both Tom Holland and side one, John Leguizamo was one of my favorite parts of this movie. That's the last thing. I just wanted him to get flowers. Is that he's
He did
incredibly underrated. I really enjoyed that.
Travis Scott, a trick.
Now,
A war.
no, I hated that. I fucking hated that. I was so mad.
I love that shit.
I was mad. You know, you loved it, but I'm sitting here being like, any one of us, like I could see Jeremy doing that very interestingly. I'm looking at that. I was like, I want someone to go nuts. He's like, wow. Like, he's not telling a story. He's just saying shit. I want him to like act that shit out. Come on, Travis. You're sicko mode.
My shield.
Hello, my darling.
spear.
Hello, my darling. Odysseus is won the war.
I literally wore my Travis Scotts because
My
of that scene.
spear.
I wore them to the movie.
I had no idea who was in the movie, and I out loud said, I was like, is that Travis Scott? Right at the beginning, really loud, and I wasn't thinking because I just blurted it out, and one guy was like, yeah. Like the dead silent movie. Because I was like, is that Travis Scott?
God. Just anybody could have done that. Like A$AP Rocky would have been great in that role. It's just
I thought it was good. I didn't.
was
He's
nothing
not
there
a
at
Travis
all.
Scott hater. It's because
It
he's
was
a Travis Scott
fine.
hater.
Yeah, I
And
didn't.
for no
I
other
didn't.
reason.
It didn't bother me at all.
He's
I
a
thought
Travis
he was
Scott
fine.
hater, and it's for no other reason.
I don't necessarily hate Travis Scott. He's Kanye's brother-in-law. So, but
His brother.
Kanye. But I think like there's so
Neither
much
of them are
potential.
married to a Kardashian.
You're starting a movie that way. You're starting the movie. It's like it had all the potential in the world. And again, it's this I will acknowledge is I hate jealousy is like my least favorite human feeling. But there was a little bit of it. I was like, there's so much someone could have done with this role. It's the opening of the movie. It needs pizzazz. He's the storyteller. He's Homer, basically. You got to bring some pizzazz and some gravitas, and he played it down the middle, and it felt like he was just saying lines. The best part of it was the beat he was making with the stick. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think that's fair. I disagree. I don't think that he was. I thought it was fine. I thought he did good. I didn't feel that in any way, like when I was watching it. So
That's fine. I'm okay. Come for me. It's fine. It's
what
gonna
is
bite me.
so our next movie, Chet? You know what it is? It's
Yes. So our movie is Mike and Nick and Alice. I know we said that on the previous one, but we had to insert this one since we all once we all
Emergency
saw
Pod,
it.
guys. Yeah,
Emergency Pod. It's gonna be fun. So Mike and Nick and Alice. Again, it's a comedy, an action comedy on Hulu. It's got mafia stuff. It's got Vince Vaughn, who's incredible in it. It's kind of a throwback to. It's an attempt at being a comedy that we grew up with, and so I really wanted to explore that and do a newer movie that is on streaming, so everybody could check it out. And yeah, so definitely check that out. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yes.
On all of our social media platforms is at @the_movie group chat. We'll be updating you with a bunch of videos and clips per week leading up to this. And we will make sure that as soon as we put the first clip out, you guys can check it out, watch the movies, keep movies alive. And thanks for joining us. And we got the whole squad over here.
Watch movies, y'all. Thank you, guys.